الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة المتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين أشهد أن لا إله إلا هو وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله ومن نهج منهجه الشريف إلى يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. المشاهدون الكرام السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Dear viewers in Islam, dear brothers and sisters in this path of rectitude, I bring you as usual weekly the best of greetings. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should continue to make our faith firm on this path of rectitude. I pray that may He continue to guide our actions, may He continue to guide our thoughts, may He continue to ensure that when eventually the door opens, we'll be happy to have a union with our Creator Almighty Allah, knowing fully well, as I once mentioned on this program, Man kari Allah, He kari Allah likoha. Whosoever desires not to meet the Almighty too would also not desire to meet with Him. I testify that He is one. His oneness has no beginning. His oneness has no end. His beginning has no beginning. You can't imagine a point at which the Almighty began to be in existence. We can't also imagine a point at which He, Almighty Allah, will cease to be in existence, because these are impossibilities. I testify that He sent a messenger. His name is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammadun Basharun wa laysa kal bashar. Muhammad sallallahu was a human being like me and you. Kana yakulu, kana yashrabu, kana yamshi fil aswaq. I pray that Allah's mercy and benediction be on His soul in Medina. I pray that for those of us who continue to have that faith in His path, may we be recompensed bountifully well here on earth with peace of mind, and in the hereafter with admission into paradise. I have had a lot of interactions with brethren over the past 2 weeks, and there have been many issues over which questions continually pour in. People always want to ask questions bothering their life, particularly those who read the Daily Trust. One of such is a young brother of yours and mine. I've forgotten his name now. In fact, his name actually bears no mention, because what matters is not the person but the issues that surround the person. He's a young boy between the age of 20 and 25. He's a student in an institution now. He first sent a text message to me, pleading that I should assist him. I thought the usual thing would be that I should send out of my prorated salary to him. You recall that lecturers are now are working like those in factories. Salaries are cognition and recognition is not given to the fact that my job as an academic, as a scholar, has no weekend. My job has no holiday. So he sent that message to me and sought that my intervention. Lo and behold, not because he needed money, as is common nowadays. Countless times, by virtue of the fact that some of us have our phone numbers, they are out there. You receive requests from brethren, brothers and sisters, those who are in genuine need, and those who are actually pandering to their selfish desires, those who have little to survive, but thought that until they go out of their way are begging, they will not be happy. So this young brother of ours, sent a message to me seeking my intervention. And lo and behold, not because he needed money. Not money wasn't his problem. His problem was that he said he's been engaged in masturbation, and that he needed my intervention. I paused a while. I thought maybe I should neglect the request, because one, I'm not a medic. Two, what's my solution to him? Immediately that day, I didn't think twice about it. I know what should be my response to him. But again, I wanted to pause. I wanted to be sure that the questioner is actually in need, and that the question he has asked me were born of reality. So a week thereafter, once he discovered that I did not respond, he sent another message back to me. on the same message. I mean, the same content, the same subject, asking me to assist him. That he's been involved in masturbation since a number of years now. That neither his father nor his mother was aware of that, and that he has read some of the essays in the Daily Trust that I've written, and that he thought that I could be of assistance to him. I thought doing a text message to him was not going to be useful. Um, Text messages are impersonal messages. You could do not connect life and soul with your brethren. So I thought I needed to speak with him. So I dialed his number. Lo and behold, before the thing rang twice, he picked my call and we started talking. I asked him, how and why did you fall into this abyss? He said he did not even know that he was in companion with his friends and they were discussing and they got, nowadays, in fact, before nowadays, we've always known that peer, what we know as peer group pressures or peer pressure, our children get information more than some of us do have. You send your child to secondary school now, you won't be sure of what they are doing. A younger sister of ours was in a secondary school. She was doing IT. Lo and behold, she got to know that in secondary school there are secret courts. A court for the young boys and a court for the young girls. So nowadays our world has actually lost its innocence. Boys are now men, though their ages may be between 10 and 20. So he got involved. He got to know about how one could self-pleasure oneself. So, and lo and behold, it tried it. And you recall that once the Almighty Allah has said that something is forbidden, the best thing for the believer is not to try it, not to taste it. Inna thamaratal muhrama hulwa. Because once you taste that which is forbidden, that which is forbidden becomes something you could engage in because you want to try it again. Once you try it first time, you want to you'll be tempted by shaitan to continually to want to try it. So he tried masturbation one day and he experienced that pleasure that a man would derive from having sexual relationship with the opposite sex, lawful sexual relationship with the opposite sex. And since that day, he has been doing it. But having read one of the essays in the Daily Trust, he thought he's in trouble and that he needed my intervention. As I said, I've been issue. I told him point blank, my brother, what you are doing is, without missing word, contrary to what Almighty Allah has enjoined us in the Quran. I invited him, as I would like to invite you, into ponder Suratul Mu'minun, Quran chapter 23, from ayah 1 to ayah 10. Suratul Mu'minun, a couple of weeks ago, I used the portion of the Quran to exemplify the question about success. I wanted us to ponder who the successful person is, and I used this portion of the Quran as insight, as tool with which I wanted us to have an understanding of who the successful person is as far as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is concerned. Now if you ponder ayah 5 and 6 of Suratul Mu'minun, Allah, you could recall, the surah begins with Ba'da al-isti'adha wal basmala, qad aflaha al-mu'minun. Those who are successful, are the believers. And in fact, the believers are successful. The very first thing they do, being believers, is that they قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. Those who are constantly conscious of what arises from their daily interaction with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do not play with their salawat. They do not combine salat. They do not put salat in abeyance. until a time will come when they will have time for it. For them, salat is not something that you create, you look for time for. Actually, as soon as salah is in, you know that you have to answer the call. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. They are ready to answer Allah's call. That's actually the first quality that Allah mentions about the believers, those who shall be successful. The second one is وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those who shall succeed here on earth and the day of resurrection are those who turn away from vain thoughts, those who shun vanities, those who shun things that do not benefit them, while it to be that they pondered the essence of what they thought they are enjoying. I should say this. I told my brother who visited me yesterday. It was, we're in the period of World Cup now. So if two countries were on the field, and as usual, my brother who loves football, he likes football very well, was there enjoying, shouting, "Oh, go, go, go!" And he said, "Prof, why aren't you joining?" I said, "The day I succeeded in untying my emotion from football, that was the day I discovered that I've always wasted my time sitting down in front of TV and enjoying some moments of madness. Yeah, there are pleasures in being mad, which none but the madman knows. Those who are pushing the leather material amongst themselves. They are enjoying themselves. They are sweating. They are enjoying physical exercise. They are going to be paid monies that could save or rescue some villages out of poverty. But they do that for 90 minutes, and thereafter they go and sleep and enjoy their life. But here you are. We've had instances of those who have died as a result of their watching of football. We've had instances when the boy who killed the other boy because he supports Chelsea, the other one supports another team, and lo and behold, the one who kills the other is now in prison. So the pleasure that we derive watching football, for me, is like the pleasure in madness. There are pleasures in being mad, which none but the madman. It is watching football that will actually tell you the pleasure deriving from that. So Allah says, one sign of success is that of those who shun vain vanities in life. One of such is watching football. Aside from that, one of such is listening to music. You want to hold on to music, but music is not something you can hold on to. You can't feel it physically in your hand. You experience some happiness, some pleasure listening to it, but you discover that pleasure doesn't last. It doesn't stay. It comes in, it goes out. That's one quality of those who shall succeed on the day of resurrection. But Allah goes further by saying that وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. And ayah 6 of this chapter of the Quran, chapter of the successful ones, chapter of the believers, Allah says those who shall succeed are those الَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, those who keep their chastity. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ, except in their interaction and their relationship with their spouses. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ, they open up their chastity. They put the totality of their masculinity to the service of the femininity of their wives. Illa ala azwajihim. Because they are under obligation. They are under obligation. A man who would succeed, as far as this portion of the Quran is concerned, on the day of resurrection, would be that person who is married, would be that woman who is married. And to be married is to be in perpetual spousal sexual relationship with your spouse. So, and you have to do it fully 100%, with you sweating and with she shouting if she wants to shout. Illa ala azwajihim aw ma malakat aymanihim fa innahum ghayru malumin. And if not for with their spouses, then they will not be blamed for having sexual relation with those their right hand possessed. This is with reference to that time in early Islamic period When Muslims will go to war, uh, the situation at that time was such that when people go to war, they come back with slaves, both men and both male and female. Human beings were considered material beings. I mean, at that time, they could be shared, they could be possessed. So at that time, Allah gave permission to the believers who had female slaves under their care to have sexual relationship with them. إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ. For those who bring their masculinity to bear on the femininity of those their right hand possessed shall have no blame. But Allah now says, except for those وَمَنْ مِتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. Allah says, for those who now go beyond this, for those who feel that the satisfaction of sexual urge in them would only happen through quarters other than what we have explained, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. They are indeed transgressors. And this is where I stopped for the boy that sent that message. As far as this portion of the Quran is concerned, I told him, I said, Allah tells you, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. Those who seek pleasures beyond that, those who think that there could be other pleasures, they could satisfy their urge, their sexual urge, through other means aside from what Allah has made lawful, then ulaika humul adun. These are those who have gone beyond the limit. To go beyond the limit is to invite Allah into war. To go beyond the limit is to tell Allah that the laws that He has prescribed for humanity are nugatories. To be transgressors, as far as this matter is concerned, is to run to work with the assumption that you are the owner of your bodies, and in fact that is actually the case with reference to other sexual, they call it in cultural studies now, sexual diversities in the world. It's diversities in sexual relationships that include homosexualism or homosexual practices, where men will find pleasure or will look for pleasure in men, where women will practice lesbianism that has to do with a woman looking for sexual satisfaction, not through or in men, but through and in their fellow gender. Transgression in sexual relationship is also common today when you see people engage in sexual practices with animals, particularly those they refer to now, those we now know as the Yahoo boys. Those young boys in town, and indeed young girls in town, who believe that they can't wait till 25 before they become multimillionaires. So they could be told that you one way you could get rich quick is for you to copulate with a cow, or to copulate with an animal, with goat, with sheep, and such instances, such actions are now being perpetrated in our world today, in this society today. And in this age of social media, you see young boys engage in bestialism, engaging in sexual relationship with beasts. And I don't want to mention the most heinous act they engage in, which is killing their fellow human beings for rituals. So I went that far to explain to our younger brother, who found himself in the abyss of masturbation, that the Prophet Muhammad SAW had enjoined and advised young men years ago saying, Ya mashara shabab, man istata'tu minkum al-ba'ata falyatazawwaj. Oh, young men, and by extension, young women. Man istata'a minkum al-ba'ata falyatazawwaj. Those of you who have the means. Those of you who have reached the age of puberty. Those of you who are walking every day, looking for men. And those of you who are walking every day, looking for women. You sleep every night. You have dreams, copulating with the opposite gender. You as a man, you experience erection, and you discover that some of the time you wet yourself. These are signs to show that you have actually reached the age of puberty. You have reached that age at which you need to to get married. Marry lawfully in line with what Allah has enjoined on us in the Quran. Quran Surah An-Nisa, Ayah 3. Bada isti'aza wal basam. Allah says, "Fankihu ma taba lakum minan nisa, mathna wa thulatha wa ruba'a." Ensure that you marry amongst those women who are pleasing unto you. 2 women, 3 women, 4 women. وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا. But if you fear that you can't ensure justice, the material justice amongst them, فَوَاحِدًا. Ensure that you pick only one woman and you get married to her. So Allah, I was trying to recall, to call your attention to what Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. He said, Ya ma'ashara shabab man istata'tu minkum al-ba'ata falyatazawwaj. Fa in lam yastati' fa alayhi bis-siyam fa inna lahu fihi wija. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, those of you who are young, the option you have as soon as you reach age of puberty is for you to do that which your body, listen to your body, find a way, get married. If you know you can't, the means is not there, for alayka bisiyam, then each time the urge comes to you, the Prophet says, try and engage in fasting as an alternative. Fasting will reduce your sexual urge. That's the reality. Fasting will reduce your sexual urge. I told our younger brother who inquired about this from me, I told him that masturbation is haram. It is an act that shows you as a transgressor in the reckoning of your Creator, the Almighty Allah. Masturbation is the perversion of your humanity. You are subjecting your organ into purposes that it is not meant for, against the divine scheme for your body. And whoever does that, such a person is inviting Allah into a war. And I asked him, do you think you can stand in a war with Allah? The response, as you expect, will be no. But I went further to ask him that, is his father aware of his circumstance? He said no. Is his mother aware of his circumstance? He said no. And I wasn't surprised his response was in the negative. Our children nowadays are not connected to us. Or should I put it in the other way? Today, we are not connected with our children. There is a disconnection between us and the fruits of our wombs and the fruit of our loins. Each time we buy for them a handset, we always forget that we are handing over the whole world unto them, such that where they are, the world they find themselves, the world they are in, is unknown to us, while they too are not aware, do not know the world in which we have also found ourselves. So, brethren in Islam, I wish to encourage those of you who are parents today, try and get close to your son. For those of us who have sons, who have children, our sons, let's try as much as possible to sit down with them, to get close to them, to penetrate their privacy, to open up their privacies. Let's ask them questions. Those of them who have reached the age of 17, 18. In fact, what am I saying? As from 15 now, boys have become boys. Girls have become girls. We find instances when 12-year-old get pregnant. We find instances when 13-year-old get pregnant. So it's not news anymore. So as I said a couple of weeks ago, to bring a child to this world today, it's not like bringing a child to the world that our fathers and mothers lived. Those days, those years have gone by. Now the world we are living in is more dangerous than their world. So to raise a child in the world today, you need to be a madman. You have to be awake 24/7. You can't afford to go on leave. These are issues that we still need to ponder more going forward. And I pray that Allah, who has created us, will ensure that our feet remain firm on this path of rectitude. And I pray that Allah will guide our younger brother back to the path of rectitude, so that he will continue to live a righteous and pious life. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم تب علينا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وآتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.